Turn my music high, 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 high. Yeah.
You don't know what you're doing.
Sure I do. I'm from the streets where the hood can swallow on me. Bullets will follow on me.
I'm back again. I know you guys are talking. I had a good week. I know there's a lot on everybody's mind this week. There was some really good games that happened. It was really exciting to see. It was fun. It was fun for me to be back for a whole week and actually follow through and not be exhausted this weekend. So I was able to pay attention more to the games and what was going on. And it was a fun week. It was fun. Well, not for me specifically, but for most of you guys. And we'll get to it. So let's go ahead. Let's get into the games. Let's see what happens. The first game I got in front of me is the Team Costa Leon versus Chicago Soldados. Chicago Soldados is one of the top teams in the last quarter. It was in first place with a solid record, and Team Costa Leon came to rain on the parade. Basically, it was a good game. They both did really well. Both of them scored 100 points plus. But Team Costa Leon just had it with Peyton Manning playing against, obviously, New England. He always gets up for that game. So he got 23 points, just not enough to beat New England. Brandon Marshall, my guy, over here with the Bears, also, 20-point game with 100-plus yards receiving. And Reggie Wayne's old man, he's still doing it, still putting up the U out there. Letting everybody know what's going on, and really put a beating on Green Bay. And that was the three guys that really made the difference when going up against the Chicago Soldados. Cam Newton is just not who he used to be last year, so I don't know. That might be something you might want to look at. Nico, I don't know who you have as your backup, but you might want to rethink that. He hasn't been doing really well this season. Victor Cruz got 23 points, and in the Bears defense, the Bears defense is probably the most solid pick you got right now with 28 points in the Bears. But it just wasn't enough for them to get you over the hump. Severo's team just showed up this weekend and did really well. So they got 125 to 103. So it kind of threw a monkey wrench in your streak, Nico. So hey, that's just how it is. We're going next. The next game was also another kind of top team versus a mediocre team with Smoke a Bowl, Drink a Forte versus 14-year-old version. You were in first place for a little bit. And this kind of, again, threw a monkey wrench. The big moves that make big things that happen. And this wasn't high scoring at all. In fact, this was a pretty crappy scoring game. This was 65-59 in favor of the 40-year-old version. Basically, your team, Juan, sucked less than Van's team. You got D'Angelo Williams, -2. Jordy Nelson, 2. And that was just a bad game for Green Bay. And your good guys, LaShawn McCoy, 13 points, which wasn't bad. But it's just right now with Philly, it's just so tough because Vic just holds onto the ball and makes it really difficult, which is what, on the other side, again, Mike Vick got 12 points because Juan has him as his quarterback, but it wasn't a great performance by anybody. I mean, there's nothing that stands out. Alfred Morris, Washington run back, is somebody kind of a sneaky pick. I don't know a lot about him, but he's doing pretty well. He's starting, and there he goes, Maurice Jones-Drew, he got 5 points. I wouldn't have started him only because the Bears were looking at him pretty hard on kind of what happened with, when Cutler got hurt and, Mojo went and talked crazy, talk about, how, Cutler doesn't have heart. So I kind of didn't expect him to do that big. But again, I don't know who you had in backup. And it is bye week, so we're limited to who we have. So again, it was 65-59. 40-year-old version came up. Now they're 3-2. So you're on the top echelon of the teams right now. So good for you, Juan. It worked out. It was a good week for you. Basically, your team sucked less than the Vans team. And that's basically what it came down to. The next game, the Pittsburgh Pencil Pushers versus La Vida's Finest. Ralph, you just can't catch a break, man. You really can. And then, I think some of you guys might even be back this week. I think Jermichael Finley got hurt again, and I'm not sure if he'll be back, so you might want to change that up. Tom Brady, I mean, he's a consistent guy. Frank Gore also, but he can't do it all by himself. A.J. Green, 12 points, not bad. But, you got Jermichael Finley with 1 point, Sean Green with 3 points, and the Giants' defense is not what it used to be, so that is getting in the way of you really moving forward. And then it helped that the Pittsburgh Pencil Pushers with Cisco, Aaron Rodgers and Ahmad Bradshaw both went off, 24 and 26 respectively. And Jamal Charles is a consistency, 16 points. Seahawks, 14 points, one of the better defenses in the league. So he just has a good team. Stevie Johnson and Danny Amendola, he got hurt, so he won't be back. And that was a great pickup in the beginning. A lot of people didn't see that coming. So I don't know how you're going to switch that out. Greg Olsen, you know what? It's just I didn't expect a lot. And then, look who he got throwing to him. Newton is not what he used to be. So, again, that's something. But, again, you still 107 points, very good. And Ralph Dog, I don't even know, man. I don't know what to tell you. 0-5, it's scary. If you don't start picking up some wins soon, it doesn't look good for you. But Cisco, you're in there. You're in there. You're staying in place. Oh, this one's a good game. This was a horrible game for you, John. I mean, all types of people got hurt for you. You got Robert Griffin out of the game. Trent Richardson got hurt, and also Alshon Jeffries is going to be out, so you're going to have to replace him. So this was just a horrible game. And you ask, can you replace guys in the middle of the game? No, you can't. I mean, yes, if it was a real game, that's what we would be doing. But unfortunately, we don't have that live. Let me do this, do that. I don't know if any leagues do that. I've never seen it. It was a good question. I actually researched it. And there are some leagues, but they're like private leagues and they're expensive, and that's not something we have here. So I don't think we can do it. I'm still doing the research and double check it, but I don't see it. Gabe, I do apologize. Apparently, you are a fantasy league savant lately because you've been doing really good. And I said in the beginning that you didn't know what you're doing, and you called me and you texted me. You said, I need you to I need to clarify that I do know, and he does, and he's been making some moves. And if you guys look at the league board, he's been doing some stuff. Serda shows up everywhere like he wants to do something, so good for you. Julio Jones again with 15 points. He's on an off guy one weekend. He does really good because he's playing alongside Roddy White, but he does it. Demaryius Thomas, that was a great pickup. It seems like that's becoming Manning's favorite target. We all thought it might have been Decker, but it's Demaryius Thomas. I mean, when's the last time you saw a white guy being the lead receiver outside of Wes Welker and maybe who else? Well, that's about it. That's really it. Drew Brees, record-breaking night. Went in, broke the record for more consistent games with the touchdown, 28 points. He went off. They won. It was a great win for. Oh, I'm sorry. No, they did win. Yes, they did win against San Diego. And so that was a great game. And so 100-92. All I do is win. It doesn't look like you're doing that. You just lost one. And so it's you're back and forth, and in the constant maneuver. And it was funny because Gabe really wanted this game. I'm going to tell you, John, I don't know if he texted you during the game, but he texted me a couple times, and he really wanted it. So I'm glad you got it. Good job, Gab. You deserve it, bro. Good for you. And John, well, who cares? No, I'm kidding. But you got a lot to do this week. You got a lot of replacements. You got to really check. Trent Richardson is probable. Robert Griffin is still hurt, so I don't know if he's going to be as mobile this week. And Alshon Jeffries, he's out. So that's something you might want to replace. I heard something about Plax wanting to come to the Bears to replace Alshon, but Phil Emery said no, we're not going to do that. So that's interesting. I don't know. What do you guys think? You guys think we should take Plax? I don't think so. But let's go on to the next one. Was it Plaxico Wars? I might have been wrong on that one, but it was somebody big name. The next game was the Bone Crushers of the Midwest Monarchs. Frankie, you're on a 2-game winning streak, bro. You might be turning this around right now. And you went and beat the Midwest Monarchs. You handed them their first loss of the season. How does that taste? Profe? It's not fun, is it? It's not fun. You had to find out sooner than later. You and the Cardinals. You and the Cardinals had to find out soon. You know what? You didn't have it was Mike Wallace didn't come through. Scott Chandler didn't come through. And Brian Hartline, these guys were guys that you were, I guess, depending on. And the Eagles' defense is very suspect lately. It's been very suspect. They're getting scored on, and so it's one of those things. But on the other hand, Christian Ponder, 17 points. Ryan Matthews, that guy is doing. I mean, what is it with San Diego? They just make running backs over there. Percy Harvin also. Percy Harvin is one of those guys, and then that return kick that really helped out for the game. And so, but Percy Harvin is one of those guys that one day he's in it, and the next day he's not. So it's something with them. You know what I mean? So you did really good. Brian Walsh, the kicker for Minnesota, also put it on them. So he did pretty good with 13 points. Your Packers defense got 0. And again, that's a very suspect defense. It's something I would really double check in the future. And they lost to the Colts, for God's sakes. And I get why you started the Packers because it's the Colts. But, they weren't playing. And with their coach being sick, I think that might have had something to do with it. They really wanted to make a statement. And that was a good. Luck really showed. Reggie Wayne looked like a beast this weekend. So all these things really worked out for them.